Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Dynamite Shirt Printing, Kyle Metz. What a guy. He came on as a sponsor, and my primary use for him is drop shipping. So what that means is that I don't got to buy inventory. I don't got to buy a bunch of t-shirts. Kyle handles it all. So it's ordered online, and then he prints it and ships it, and he handles everything. And it works out for both parties. If you're looking for something else like general screen printing, he handles that. He does embroidery. He does direct to garment, DTG, which means you can do one-offs, and there's no minimum on that. Kyle's been able to help a lot of businesses that I've been funneling to him just to get going and to, start up. I mean, you don't want to order 100 t-shirts when you're just coming out the gate. And Kyle can handle small orders, large orders. He can handle everything you need. That's Dynamite Shirt Printing, and it's dynamiteshirtprinting.com. Go check it out. My favorite skate shop in the Valley, 5anddimeeaston.com. You can shop online or in store. Their address is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Their hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, Saturday, 10 to 7, and Sundays, 11 to 5. They carry clothing, shoes, boards, accessories, and more. You can get complete decks down there. They got grip. They got some local clothing down there as well. I know a couple guys that came on the show that they're now selling stuff in store, and they're exclusive to Fucked. They are doing so much for the independent skate community. They're doing so much for the DIY. They're doing a lot in the area with skateboarding, and I couldn't be prouder to have them as a sponsor. Their story is incredible, from starting it when they were 18 and then coming back later in life to opening up what the store is that they wanted. And the two guys down there are just incredible. I can't say enough good things about them. I love that they're a sponsor, and they really help out in the community. And if you skate or want to support them, please go check them out locally. It is 140 Northampton Street, Easton, PA. Online, it is 5anddimeeaston.com. Please go check them out. All Valley Rooter, Jared LaBarba, friend of the show, childhood friend, Never Again Studios official plumber. 24-hour emergency services. 610-762-1656. That's 610-762-1656. They charge by the job, not by the hour, and they are 100% fully insured. They have free estimates. They also do installation and repair. They have a list of things. I can't go over them all on here, but you can find them at allvalleyrouter.net. All of Jared's services are on there. It's a beautiful website. You can contact him through that website. You can find out how to do, emergency services. Where should I call? Who should I contact? You can get all that there at allvalleyrouter.net. Free estimates, fully insured. Jared LaBarba. Check him out.
I'm Mark. They call me Rip. Rips Auto Detail. You can find me on Instagram, Rips Auto Detail, RIPS Auto Detail. You can hit me, Mark, at ripsautodetail.com for my email. So if you want to call me, 484-553-1366. Social medias, really, you'll see most of what I'm doing. But for the business, give me a follow on Rips Auto Detail. Watch what I'm doing. If you're interested in paint corrections, ceramic coatings, anything in the Lehigh Valley as far as highline aesthetics for your vehicle. We're not talking cheap stuff here, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. It just is what it is. I've been working at this for a long time, and if you want someone to take a prideful approach to the aesthetic care of your vehicle and really turn you out a product that you haven't experienced with someone else before, give me a shot, man. It's a one-man approach, and everybody gets the same level of devotion. Obviously some jobs cost more and some less, and you've got to draw a fine line there. It's easy to really obsess over things and go too far sometimes and over-deliver. It's never really a bad thing, though. So give me a shot.
All right, 45 minutes. Never Again Radio episode. I have no fucking clue. Welcome to Never Again Radio, man. How are you?
Fantastic. Appreciate you having me on.
Of course. I apologize. We wanted to do this multiple times. The crazier things get down here, the harder it is to land it. But you're here. I appreciate you driving. Our paths crossed through Zach and JM. I met you early on when they were doing the finishers over in New Jersey. It's the brothers.
The main brothers.
Yes, and they had that one event because they had the giant space, and they had the
Pliables.
The Pliables was there.
Did play a bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I went down with Zach and stayed there overnight because I was just so green to anything with jiu-jitsu, but I was into it. And I had built this relationship with Zach and JM because I knew Dan from Cryo, and then Zach and JM were doing the Finishers podcast, and Eddie Bravo was going to be on their show, and it wouldn't work in their basement, so they needed a spot, and they gave me $100 to use my studio. And
that's how you met
that's
them?
How
was
I met
to them
them.
do the Eddie Bravo podcast.
And then what's funny is, like, I didn't realize how big of a thing that was, and like my old studio I had, it was like a hallway. They set it up where like it oddly mocked a thing because there was a giant window that separated the two rooms. Mm-hmm. So I would sit in one room or have people that weren't involved in the show sit in the other room, but you could watch the show and hear it. So I'm just sitting there, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, they're fucking interviewing Eddie Bravo? Why didn't I go?
I was going to say, what year is this?
Oh, man.
Because getting Eddie Bravo on a podcast.
It was...
Especially at that time. That was in studio too, right?
No. It was they Skyped it.
Oh, it was a Skype.
They Skyped
okay.
it. I think they eventually got him. I don't know if they got him in studio ever or not. I know he came in for the seminars and whatnot. But anyways,
yeah.
I met you through them, and then I was just like covering media, and I was doing a podcast, but this is what I wanted to be doing at the time, and what I'm about to do next is kind of like what I've always been wanting to do. But like I was just down there filming, and then I just got the jiu-jitsu bug watching because I would tell people like, yo, come to these events with me. They're fucking wild. And I remember I went down there, and it was the first time I've ever seen anybody go out ever.
Unconscious.
Yeah, and it was Cucker and a guy wearing the American flag shorts.
It was Cockle Rob Best. I remember that match. Yep, Cockle Rob Best.
And I was just sitting in the corner, and the whole crowd.
It was a tough match too.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy back and forth. And I just remember the whole place was like, Rah! And I was like, this is crazy. And then I just started going to every Finishers events. But that was when I originally met you, and we always went back and forth, and I love having the opportunity like this to be able to sit down and pick apart it. Because, like, I had a guy on today, I'm like, Tony, we would have never sat down for 2 hours and talked. You don't have that time anymore. So getting into this extremely long-winded intro, when did you get into jiu-jitsu, martial arts? Like, where did all this start in the beginning of your story? Because I'm very intrigued to find out who you are.
Yeah. So I grew up, so my dad left when I was really young. Like I hadn't seen him from like first grade on, right? So my mom like put me into wrestling very, very early on. So I wrestled from when I was 4 till competitively till I was 20. Not in college, but like Mawa tournaments. And
did you like wrestling?
I loved it.
The discipline.
I really did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'll tell you, my last coach that I had in high school, I had him for my last 3 years. He really, I was always like, okay, I was average, but he showed me that I could be much better. And he showed me how, you know, he kind of, he's the first coach to ever make me want to push myself.
Yeah.
Which I never had before. And so anyway, so I wrestled up until I was 20, but I did karate from like, I want to say like 4th grade to like 8th grade. And I was best, you know, always like never missed a class, like best.
Yeah.
It's always competed, always did stuff like that. So I had been in martial arts and wrestling and grappling since I was, you know what I mean? Like a kid.
That's huge to not have the father figure there and then end up with coaches that actually give a shit.
Oh, yeah.
And aren't just there for a paycheck to then push you. Because when you said, you know, to push yourself further, like I remember my dad constantly being all over us in football because he was a really good football player, all state. And, you know, he wanted us to excel at the things that he did. So to not have that, but then get that from a coach like that's got to be a mom's dream to have somebody do that, but then for you to, you know, I'm sure it changed your life.
Oh, it competitively, it changed my life because it even made me in high school. It made me understand that I can be better at football. You know what I mean? I can do other things. And yeah.
Did you play football?
I did. I played football. Again,
What did you play?
I
What
played
position?
Offensive tackle. I was left tackle.
Yeah. Center.
We ran a lot of counters. Ran a lot of counters though, so a lot of touchdowns behind me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played for St. Joe in Hamilton. We're like the coach. He's still there, Coach Soccer. I think he's got like 400, 500 wins. It's like a jersey. It might be even like a national
Yeah,
record
yeah,
at this
yeah,
point. But yeah, so played football in high school. But anyway, when I got out of high school, coached football for a little bit, coached wrestling for a little bit. And by the time I was 21, I was just working. And
So you were coaching?
Yeah, just like town league and like an assistant coach for the high school
That's
for
fun,
like
though.
2 years after.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it more just to wrestle with the guys, but I did take on that coaching role like right after high school. And then I did nothing till I was 26, and that's when I started jiu-jitsu. My friend, like a friend from high school who played no sports, had started training jiu-jitsu, and they were doing one of the guys that he had trained with a lot was doing a seminar in Berlin. This is like 2006. So he's like, can you just show up so at least somebody is there?
Yeah.
So I call my two cousins, Brett and Kyle, and I'm like, yeah, we got to go to this thing. It's jiu-jitsu. And we were already like, they would already come over to my house and we would watch the UFC. We were, if you knew who Hoist Gracie was.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you knew of that. So I went and we ended up signing up, and we were literally, he did sign-ups that night. We were students 1, 2, and 3. So I'm literally student number 1 at South Jersey Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
That's awesome.
Which is pretty crazy.
Was anyone else there, or was it just the three
No,
of you?
there was
Yeah.
like maybe 8 people or so, and I I think like 5 of us.
It always
from
fascinates
that
me
original
digging
crew.
through, because I used to dig through the finisher stuff with those guys, and the early stories of when it isn't the way it is now. There
Yeah.
was no Instagram. There was like, you know what I mean? Like, you only knew of Hoist Gracie if you're buying like the UFC fights out of like the adult section at Blockbuster. Like,
Yep.
It was a very niche thing to be in. I'm sure with like the guys, like they were into Tiger Showmans and stuff, like I'm sure you see it in different aspects because you're a part of it.
Yeah.
But to know about it back then is not what it is now.
No. Oh my God.
I love hearing it, because they used to
it's
come
so
on and they
different.
would apologize and they're like, "Oh, we're sorry." I'm like, dude, I'm into these old stories. It's like the Wild West. It is not marketable thing that it is now.
And that show, not for nothing, but that finisher show, I mean, that was like pioneers, man.
Yeah.
Like that's,
They had-
a lot of shows say they're influenced by that finisher show.
Yeah, they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
They did when they were doing it, like I said early on, I was the out of everyone who was podcasting at that time and working with the two of them, and because that was done in Dan's basement, because I think they were both living there with Dan. And then when they started that show, they were probably the only other people that I took seriously that was actually podcasting in the Lehigh Valley. Like, they were not fucking around. They cranked out episodes. They had Ross doing everything. Like, I was always like, these guys are, because I always had a leg up on production because of the people that I knew that was helping me. But then when I saw them, I was like, fuck yeah. I'm like, these guys are doing this shit in house.
I did one with them, and Ross is like,
Because then because it went to
like
Ross's like above his
sheds
garage.
above his, yeah.
They were doing that for a while. They had the new studio there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. So so I started getting back into it at 26 years old. Like a year into it, I started teaching.
What was the draw? Because this is the second time now that you're teaching and coaching. What was the draw of you doing it? Because of your experience you had with the coach and you wanted to give that experience to others, or were you just naturally wanting to teach?
I honestly don't know. And at that time too, I lived like an hour and 10 minutes away. So, and we were renting space from so we had moved a year and that's when I started teaching. But it was like an hour and 10 minutes away, but I'm teaching classes right after work. So I'm working, driving right there, teaching classes, then training my classes to getting home like 10:30 at night for nothing. I mean, I'm not getting paid or anything. I'm a blue belt helping out. But I don't know what it was, man. I started with the teens. And then I want to say maybe about a year after that, I started teaching like the basic classes. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just fell in love with teaching, and the teaching really inspired me to want to know more so that I know I could give more. Like, I don't even teach anymore, like other than, a few people that, I work with or meet up, do privates, things like that. But, I don't know. I just love to learn. Like even now, like I'm in the middle of like 4 different things that I'm learning like cerebrally, because I can't train right now because of my knee. But I don't know. I love learning, and
What's the easiest way for you to learn? Do you like hands-on? You a big book reader?
No, you want to know what? So, all right. So I hurt my neck in 2014. I had to have screws put in. Yeah, terrible. So it was a year before I could even start moving. In that time period, I never stopped teaching. Like I was teaching like a week after with the neck brace on. But during that time period is when I really shifted the focus to teaching. And man, I literally didn't train for 7 years. I let myself get way out of shape. I kept blaming it on my neck. Like I kept saying, I can't, it's going to hurt my neck. It's going to hurt my neck. I started training back again when I stopped teaching. I stopped teaching in August 21 and I started training again in August 21 and my neck's fine. My knee's what's shot. Now I got to get work on.
Now you got other shit fucked up.
But so in that time frame, like I learned like a completely different like look at jiu-jitsu. Like I had learned a very, Gracie, a Gracie self-defense style of jiu-jitsu, like most people learn. But when I started working with the competitors and when I really just focused on teaching and I pulled myself away from training at all and literally was just there 3-4 days a week just to teach, I don't know, I got obsessed with learning, but I somehow was able to learn it cerebrally and give it to somebody without ever actually doing it myself.
Yeah.
I was able to interpret so I can watch things and pick them up and the small details stay in my head. Now, I definitely still, I review things over and over. Like if I'm working on something,
you have the background on it as well.
For 30 minutes, I'm then listening to it in the car while I'm driving so I can hear the details that's going on. But once I started training again, I knew like I'm not gonna roll like I used to roll. Like I used to roll like a big dude, like just smash past you from the knees, just be heavy on top, all that. And now like I know in my head that's not what I should be doing. There's way more. There's like I've been teaching it all this time. I know that there's way more easier ways or way more efficient and effective ways to do things. So it was cool for me because when I started training again, lost the weight, started training again. Not that I needed to lose the weight to train again, but once I did, I felt more comfortable moving around. And man, it's like it was like I got to start all over again, but I had all this knowledge that I would just say to people, but now you know what I mean? Now it's just actions happening and now it's just reactions. And I'm like, wow, man, this is, it's cool. It feels good to move like this and all that. So I learn more by just watching and then I'll do it live. I don't really drill or anything like that. But for me, it's weird that I can like, just how I can learn just by watching and the details stick in my head. I don't know why, but it works for me. Thank God.
It makes sense for you to be obsessed with coaching because if you're coaching, you're probably looking at it from a different perspective to teach. So if you're watching something to take it in yourself and then you're just taking it in, but if you're a teacher and you have to have a lesson in what you're going to be taught, you'd be taking that in differently. So it does make sense with your background and how, coaching football and then, because what it seems from early on, you kind of got obsessed with the training and the build behind it. And then to coach right out of high school, it takes somebody who's looking at things differently. So it makes sense for you to be able to do that because your perspective on everything is way different than others because of just jumping into coaching like that, because that struck me as something very peculiar about what you did. But for you to be a coach, you would start coaching. Because I remember the younger guys who would help out on the football, and then you're like, oh, and then you don't really ever question, well, why are you doing this? But you like coaching.
Yeah. I don't know why. Again, something.
Well, I mean, it's got to be fulfilling.
And I definitely enjoy being around people, too.
Yeah.
I like seeing people succeed. So knowing that you can help in some way, I do enjoy that role.
Yeah.
It's different dealing with, it's much different dealing with competitors, athletes, than it is a regular class. You know what I mean? Like your regular hobbyists and things like that, they're there for, they're not there to compete. Some like to train hard and stuff like that, but what they need to learn, they need to learn in a way for them being able to defend themselves. In the grand scheme of things, it's irrelevant what they can do in competition. If you're a hobbyist, as a coach, you want them to be able to defend themselves if they have to. A competitor, it's a whole nother game. Like, competition is a whole different game in itself. Like, you don't have to know 1,000 techniques to be a great competitor. You just be really good at 12 techniques and just be able to execute them and this hobbyist can be a black belt and know 40 different things to do from guard, and you can be a strong white belt competitor who trains 2 times a day and knows 2 or 3 things really good from that bottom position. And it's crazy how that dynamic can take over. Just knowing how to win like a competitor, you're just kind of taking out like the not taking out the stuff that's you're taking out the stuff that's less effective. Like in jiu-jitsu, man, we're teaching, most schools have curriculums that are like 12 weeks long, something like that, and you're just repeating the same things over and over. Whereas a competitor, it's evolving. This sport evolves. You watch these 10th Planet people, you know what I mean? You watch Grace and you learn something new just watching her. So with these competitors, it can't be a cycle of learning. It's almost like it has to be endless.
Yeah.
Like their stuff almost shouldn't even repeat. It should almost be, all right, we're going to refine this and adjust this so that we're going to look at this dilemma instead from a move. So that aspect of it, I got completely obsessed with for
well, that's what I was going to transition
years.
into now. So in your career and what you're doing now, and you start out teaching and you kind of get to teaching the basics of it. So where does your path develop now where your school starts bringing different competitors in? Was there something where you started competing? When did it start getting into competition based?
So we had some good competitors that would do good in local tournaments and things like that. A good friend of mine, Amanda Levy, she had come over. She fights in the PFL, incredible grappler. I think she's ranked like number 6 right now as a grappler. She was getting ready for EBI, female EBI, and she had started coming in and started working with her, just helping her with the overtime and stuff like that. And it was a 6 a.m. class and my Saturday classes that started coming to try to help her. Well, they just became more competitive in nature, those classes, and started drawing competitors from around the area just to come train in those classes, not looking as a coach or anything like that, just to get the work in because those were really tough rooms. And then actually, who's Amanda Levy's boyfriend now, Christian, my friend Christian Ruggieri, he had come in and started training, and he had brought in Nick Rodriguez. When Nick came into the room, Nick's now, he's ranked in the world, took second in ADCC, just a monster. When he came in, it had to go really focused onto competition because that's what he was going to be able to do for the rest of his life. Like we realized, man, this guy really has, and you're talking a month in, you realize that this guy actually has a chance to be something special. At that point is when I kind of started realizing that, okay, I can help these people. You know what I mean? I'm not the greatest coach in the world, you know what I mean? But I understand how to win. Like I commentate. The commentary really allows me to see what works and what doesn't work, because when I have to focus completely on what's happening, you start to see patterns of what wins and what doesn't win, right?
I knew if we peeled this back at all.
And I've commentated close to 4,000 matches.
Yeah.
That's not counting what I study, what I look at. I watch how people win.
So were you commentating, because I wanted to get into that as a separate piece, but were you commentating before?
I started commentating in 2012. A guy in our gym started a PGL, what it was called. Remember, you ever see that video where Zach bumps into the ropes and he knocks the camera guy off the ropes?
I think so.
Yeah. So that was that event. And he had people involved in the school, and he had said, hey, you got to do something. Why don't you do the commentary?
Yeah.
And that's what started. And then I started doing a few MMA things, and then I just kept doing it. But I think my obsession with technique is what helps me with commentary.
That's what I was going to say is it makes sense. All of this is scattered, and we're going to put it all together. And I don't mind scattered because my brain's crazy, but like, it makes total sense why you would get into these things and these obsessive things, and then it explains what you just got done explaining earlier on why you can take things and then teach them without having to do them, because you're taking it all in and you're processing it way different than other people. And then even from like what I've learned from UFC, just from commentating, that's explaining like jiu-jitsu and other processes, like if you watch that every goddamn week, like I remember when the guys were down here and I started sticking up for the ground game, because everyone would be like, oh, it goes to the ground. But then when I started being around the finisher guys, I started paying attention to the ground differently. And then people started looking at it over time where no one really hates any aspect of mixed martial arts. Now, from having parties down here to the 5 people that are really the only kind that, like, I want people who want to watch fights down here, because I don't want the casual fan. It happens on the big fights because somebody's like, oh, ESPN was showing me. But for the most part, I really only like watching it with people that like watching it, because everybody's on the same page. So like, to even have a glimpse of that, and then for you to be breaking it down through reading books, watching videos, watching this live, breaking it down with students, coaching because you started coaching there, and then you are just a vacuum, a sponge sucking all this shit up. And then when you add in doing the commentary, now you're doing what you did watching tapes live, and you are just a computer at this point. This is crazy.
I get
it's
to absorb
crazy.
a lot of jiu-jitsu, but the thing is like, I am obsessed with it. So like, if there's jiu-jitsu on and I'm not like with my family or doing something family related, like I'm watching it. If it doesn't matter if I have to pay for it, if it's I pay $10 every month for everything. Fight Pass, Fight TV,
ESPN Plus,
ESPN Plus, every one of them. Because if there's jiu-jitsu on it, it's just what I'm obsessed with. But the commentary really, and when I started to be able to do stuff like the Fight to Wins, Who's Number One, Emerald City, the finisher stuff, like, the level of the talent on these, is the best grapplers in the world. Yeah. They really are the best. Like, grappling isn't this monster sport. There's a couple million in the world, right? So to be able to be at the top, I mean, there's really only a few hundred grapplers who are really at the top of the game in the world, and to be able to watch them and commentate them, because we're just lucky to be in the Northeast, and the U.S. just happens to house 3/4 of them. Like, I'm getting to watch and commentate and really have to focus on those high level people, and not even just the high level people, just seeing how creative, people can be in their competition, and getting to. That's why I like to, even when I watch instructionals, like, I'll go back to the person's matches, because I want to see how they used it in the match. I want to see if the dilemmas that they're talking about really, really are working. And that's crazy. You can watch it live. Yeah.
I don't even know who would even think to do that.
Yeah. Again, we're a small group, man. There's not many of us.
No, but I mean, watching somebody's instructional and then watching tape on them to see if it's actually.
Oh my God! Yeah. Like, if you knew how many hours people would throw up if they knew how much I
love it though. You're down the rabbit hole. Yeah. It seems like it was something that related to you as a child, and it was a path. And I think when people get on a path and it feels like it's the correct path. I mean, for me, it didn't happen until I was 28. So some people, it happens at a younger age, and you're fortunate enough to ride it out this long. Not many people either are self-aware enough to be like, I'm okay with this, and this is cool, and I like this, and it feels at home, where some people would get embarrassed of a feeling like that and then not go in a direction, or like they just kind of don't know where to go after high school. But like, I think that's cool that you got out of it, and then we're like, no, I want to coach, and then that essentially left you back in a door that most people close, and then you find martial arts, and then that reopens the door even wider to be a coach. And then this is now, we are in a deep rabbit hole, my friend. I love this. So you're doing the commentating and all this, and then now you start working with the competitive guys. So where does that go from there?
So, man, the competitives. So I really stopped coaching. I still corner a few people when they ask me to here and there, but I really stopped coaching like back in August. Again, I still have a few people I jump on for, but it was a hell of a ride, man. I got to do some really cool stuff with some unbelievable competitors that I couldn't, like, I can't thank enough for bringing me experiences like going to West Coast trials for ADCC, which is like our Olympics, and they have 2 trials in the United States every 2 years. And the West Coast trials, there's only 7 gold medals given out. There's only 7 divisions, 7 gold medals. And the West Coast trials in 2019, this is when everything really started getting fun. I ended up cornering Amanda and Nick, who was only 9 months in. Amanda had decided to do it on a Wednesday, and both of them won, like in dramatic fashion. So I literally got to sit. And ADCC is like for me as a jiu-jitsu fan, like that's my Super Bowl. That's my right. So this is like winning that wild card to get into the playoffs for like a football fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they went on to ADCC, and Nick ends up taking second place. Amanda lost her first match, did really good, super cool performance. But then to be able to like sit in a chair at like ADCC and be able to sit in a chair at a finals at ADCC was like, you know, it's like our Olympics. They're giving out 7 medals that day. Like to be able to coach in those situations, like I can't express those competitors how unbelievable it made me feel to be there with them and represent them. For me, it was like a dream come true. And then for that one, Flow Grappling actually did a documentary, followed Nick around because he had only been training for like 18 months at that point. And he made a run where he beat 3 world champions and then went to the finals. He lost in the finals, but they had me mic'd, did like a 45-minute documentary. So for me, it was God, you just took the coolest experience of my life.
Yeah, well, I was gonna
did a black and white documentary on it.
I was gonna follow up with that. Like, how did that feel when you were sitting there? Was it like, I know it's probably different because of you studying and doing all that and putting in the work. It's not work to you because you're in love with doing it. But I mean, is that moment, do you take that in? Like, you're like, holy shit, man. Like, I am a little bit different than others, that I put all this hard work in. And, earlier we podcasted and we talked about how everyone tells you, you just got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. You got to put the work in. But it's weird because I'm there now. It's weird when you get there to where you can finally look back and you're like, oh man, that was a lot of work and that was totally crazy. And I don't know who would do that, but you have little moments where you give yourself the credit of the hard work. Is that something you did when you were there?
Sitting in the chair in the finals was surreal, but then right when it's so I want him to win so bad, you know what I mean? So you're focused on that moment, but I literally sitting there,
car ride home, stuff like that.
Man, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And then after that they had this was 2021. This might have been just over a year ago. He did the Who's Number One tournament where Flow Grappling did that giant Who's Number One tournament. They asked me to come out and commentate, and Amanda was
because now they also know you from the documentary.
Yeah, and I actually did commentary for the ADCC East Coast trials in 2016 and 2018. So I had known the Flow guys. I had done probably like 15 or so fight to wins at that point too, so I knew those guys really. All the guys at Flow, I have such a good relationship with, really good people, so I got to commentate that, and then Amanda had that match with Gabby Garcia. Gabby at that point had lost like 3 times. Nobody thought Amanda, you know what I mean? Amanda was seeded 8th. Gabby was seeded 1st. Gabby was probably like 270, 280. Big girl, huge girl. Amanda was like 160, and Amanda just smokes her. Like, I know he smokes her like exactly like everything that we were talking about doing. Like, it all worked.
Yeah.
Right. I got to commentate that with like one of my idols, and Sean Williams. Like, to be able to commentate it, get up, coach, like in another incredible, like one of the biggest upsets ever.
Yeah, I remember seeing that because I knew her from Finishers because she competed at that.
Yeah.
And it was at that Main Brothers.
Yep, she won that one.
Dude, Drew Puzam was there.
Yeah,
there's so many
Drew's
people that I brought back through the network where I was like, yo, dude, I was at that shit. I was the weirdo in the corner in camo shorts with 2 different color socks on that nobody was talking to, filming shit for Instagram. But it's cool to like watch all these people come up through all these different things, and you could feel it at that time where there was like a shift and a change in that community, and that community is so dope. Like, everybody was
really
so nice, and like I didn't know what to expect, and I was always down there by myself. Preet Preet would always
Preet's
be
the
like,
man.
I'd talk to Preet, but I was so awkward and uncomfortable because I knew no one. But then like these relationships came with everybody. But when I see these people like blowing up on a level like that, when she won, I was like, I know her.
Right?
I'm like, I got video footage of her winning at finishers. Yeah.
And then Flo did like a 15-minute little documentary on that. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, you're like catching my best, like my the moments I had most fun. Like we're like Amanda and Nick have had me in these situations with them. I can't thank them enough. Like it's so cool. You know what I mean? And then, so once you know what I mean? And then, so I had those situations that were like for me as a coach, like, and then Amanda had me had me as one of her corners for a PFL fight. So I got to, you know what I mean, corner her in the PFL. She submitted her girl in the first round. So they've had me on these such cool experience where as like a super fan, I don't think they realize
you're like nerding out hardcore.
You have no idea how I'm going to be here. You have no idea how I'm going to be here.
But that's what I think makes your commentating and everything you do so much better is because
definitely genuine.
Yeah. It comes off so easy for you, but now after talking to you, and I knew what it was, but it's just like your love for the sport and coaching and competing is what makes that naturally just good.
Yeah. And it's I don't know why I gravitated so, because it's funny, 95% of the classes that I taught while I was teaching from 2007 to 2021 was basic classes. I really only taught basic classes until those competitors started coming in. So when I started doing more competitive classes, and then I had the little, we were just about a year. I was over at that Studio 84, and we had Keith Corcoran over there. We had John Combs over there, and it was really, really fun experience to have those two guys around for a year. They became very, very good friends. They were good friends before and came out and just became even better friends. And it was really fun to have those guys and be able to go around with them and corner them, and again get just more really cool experiences. And then once the that ended, is when I really wanted to start focusing on me now. You know what I mean? I kind of realized that I have time. I'm my son's going to be 13 in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know he's going to be. It's crazy how old he gets. So
what's he doing? Do you have him competing? Is he in wrestling?
He doesn't compete jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He just does jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what he adapted early on, or is it something you wanted to do?
Since he was 4.
Yeah.
He started when he was 4. Yeah. I'm his
Did he
ride
naturally
doser
just take to
right
it?
now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You want to know what? Yeah, because we wrestle so much at home.
Yeah.
Like even now, like it never stopped. Like his defense is amazing. His like ability to escape things is amazing, because I always put him in leg locks and arm bars, stuff like that. So his ability to get out of things is amazing.
Yeah. There's something about an older brother or a sibling or anybody that's a family member. You getting out of that is very important. It's very important to get out of the hole.
Taps don't always qualify. So the commentary thing has been great. I started doing commentary with Fury Grappling, who's CFFC's. CFFC is a big MMA promotion over in Philly, but they go down to they're down to Florida. They go out to Mississippi.
So will you travel for these?
So the only ones that I've traveled for is the Flow Grappling ones. When they fly, Connecticut, Maryland. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, I do travel actually quite a bit. Boston I've been to, but I was able to judge for the trials. So they had asked me to commentate, and I have a relationship with the guy who runs or who is the promoter for ADCC for the trials, and they were short on judges because with COVID, most of the judges are from Europe, so getting them over to the United States just wasn't happening.
The whole thing. Yeah.
So he had to get judges trained really quick. So now in 2021, I was able to judge the East Coast trials. So now I was able to work the event that I'm just a super fan of as a head judge. Yeah. And then he asked me to do it again at the West Coast trials. So I did. I judged again at the West Coast trials, which was the biggest no-gi tournament to date. And to be able to judge, and then had us had me and my friend Classy Grappler. He did that whole thing with me where he was a judge at East Coast, judge at West Coast, but he had us sit at the table for like the semifinals and finals. So it was like, man, this is so cool. Again, I can't believe I'm sitting at a judge's table, scoring, helping score these matches. Yeah, man, like for me, like all my dreams are like coming true. And then, this September, they asked me to be one of the commentators for ADCC.
Yeah.
So I'll actually be able to be commentating there. So it's cool, man. I've been able to, like, even in just this last year, the stuff that I've gotten to do, the people I've gotten to meet, just been incredible, man. I'm really, really, really lucky in my home life, my business life, and jiu-jitsu life. I'm really lucky with the people that are around me everywhere. Because business, I own a business, Camden.
Well, that's what I was going to get into is just because I always like getting into business here. But when you were doing all of this, were you working full-time, working part-time? Did you own a school? Did you start a business? Like, how are you able to balance all that?
So I have a company called Contractor Service. I started with them in 2008, and I bought in half the company in 2014, 7 years ago or so. So I sell supplies to like road, bridge, utility companies like jackhammers, air compressors, all that. So I have a business with 14 other employees, trucks running every day through.
Where did you get that knowledge? Was that something you did growing up?
So out of high school, I just immediately started working. I worked for like a scissor lift company, aerial lift company, just washing stuff. And by the time I turned 18, they asked me to go into sales. Once I was in sales, like I started doing really well. By the time I was like 25, I was managing. And
did you like sales?
I did, and I was pretty good at it. I just don't like the drive. I just didn't. Every day it's just a lot to drive. But what I was good at is getting to a point where at a customer base that fulfilled what we had to offer. You know what I mean? There wasn't any more equipment to go out and get any more. Once I had left there and then went over to the other business where I started just like counter sales, and then worked my way up to general manager, and then ended up buying half the company. But yeah, and again, like the people that I work with there, like I'm in a situation where I don't stress. There's no gray in my beard. There's no gray in my hair. Like like the people that I get to go see every morning at work, I enjoy being around. Clearly I love my home life. Jiu-jitsu, like I'm just around all the people.
So were you doing 9 to 5 building this business and like working on
4:30? I didn't really have to build it though, because when I came into it, it was already a fairly successful business.
But there is a point to where you have to build up to you being that responsible to be able to do something.
So when I went from general manager and then I bought into it, I kind of took over the financials and a few of the high account, our biggest accounts I basically take care of, which were processed through jiu-jitsu or earned through jiu-jitsu, which is of course the story. But yeah, it's really successful. We've grown, like, since I bought it, it's grown almost 50%, which is, we were already pretty successful there. So like I said, I'm really lucky. I'm really lucky that I'm surrounded by,
I mean, not all of it's luck. I mean, if you peel it back, I mean, your work ethic obviously comes from somewhere. Yeah. So it's like, and it happens a lot on the show, is you're just casually like, I did this, I did that. And then I was like, all right, well, I got into this company. And it's like, dude, that's so much fucking hard work.
For sure.
That is so much work. Like, to buy into a company and have it be successful and do all that is one thing, but then while you're doing that, to be studying film and then working with athletes on a super high level, it's like nothing you're really doing. The hard work doesn't stop. What do you give that to? Do you give that to the wrestling early on? Do you give it to the discipline of martial arts? Did you give it to you chasing after the belts and the different things in that? Because I mean, like, I the more I get into jiu-jitsu and the more I look at it and I see how hard it is for people to level up, you got to get obsessed with climbing that ladder. And then when you do that, there's other things in life that become easier because you're used to climbing. So the ladder to get to the black belt it's got to be way harder to do that than to get to where you're at with a company. So that kind of seems like a breeze, which is why you're like, yeah, I just did this. So like, is that where that's coming from?
So I think it's more, and this is kind of a different aspect of competing, but like, I'm not going to let myself fail. And I know that if it just means wake up earlier and work later to get it done so that it's getting done exactly how you want it. If that means I got to go in it, so I taught for about 8 years. I did this. I would go to 6 a.m. class, teach 6 a.m. class, and then go right to work. After work, come right and teach. So I would start at 5:30 in the morning and not get home till like 10 at night. Did that for years.
Isn't it crazy when you're doing that? That you just do it, and when you put your mind, when you put your mind to it. Because I remember early on of starting this, it was wild what I was doing, and then people think what I'm doing now is crazy, but to me, it's just like, well, that I've been working at a high pace and a fast pace for so long that like I didn't realize that I could push myself harder and faster because I was doing it wrong, and then when I stepped back and adjusted it, but you learn that through doing it over time. But like when you get up early and you just work really hard, like as stupid as it sounds, where like if you just get up and you put the work in,
it worked for me.
It works.
I didn't start as the general manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I started as a white, but like everything started from something. It's just
the
effort I put into it.
That's what I'm saying is like, it feels like I see with a lot of you guys, it's like it's got to be addictive to go on that climb. Mm-hmm. And then it's like when you start putting that work in on that climb, everything's a climb. And then, I look at like what I do is I kind of put goals real far out. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, let's go get that motherfucker. And I'm like, let's go. And then my friends will be like, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, let's reel it in. And then the more you learn how to reel shit in,
you end up on Tiger King.
The faster. Well, I mean, that was the thing too.
Yeah.
We didn't stop working during that time. Those guys, they didn't want to stop their fucking school. And then it's like, I know how much hard work they put into it. So people would be like, I can't believe you're doing that. I'm like, these guys have a business they built from nothing.
Yeah.
They used to live there.
Even the crazy part on the end, like when I was doing the 6 a.m. till like 10 o'clock at night, I wouldn't get tired of it because everything was like growing and becoming more successful. So it wasn't even like
you start seeing
it wasn't even
the
like
results of the
I
hard
gotta
work.
drive to Robbinsville after work. It was like, all right, so I got these people coming in tonight. We're gonna go over this, and this. I want to make sure that this is how we're gonna. Like it was never.
It's a really nice feeling because I remember getting up early and having to drive into a job, and that was the first thing when I stopped doing that because I hated it, and then when I started doing this. That ride into work is like, this is what I wanted to do. And you don't realize that, especially if you get caught up in a job you really fucking hate. But to get up that early and to say everything that you're doing, if you didn't like doing all those things, there'd be a way different result. And I don't think you would have done it that long.
I would have been a grumpy person.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are just like chasing a retirement and shit like that. And they hate their fucking job and they just drive in every morning. And the morning drive in. And when that changes where you're working, like I remember my mom, I'd come home and I had no money and like I would just go to my parents' house and eat, and there'd be times where I'd be like, I gotta shower, and I would just shower, eat, and I'd be like, I gotta go, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got a podcast tonight. I mean, I was working sometimes 2-3 jobs, podcasting, getting up, and then going into work on fucking 2 hours of sleep, slamming Red Bulls, and people are like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
And then now I'm like, cool, that was all totally worth it, but the second half of my day was something I loved. So you don't pay attention to the time. You don't pay attention to how hard you're working. You're just doing shit. And it gets frustrating, and there's definitely life and, people passing and all these other things going on. And if you just keep focused on that one thing that you're passionate about, that lane opens up, and then you don't give a fuck about getting up at 6 in the morning because what you're going to do, you love.
Man, and I'll tell you what was very, very motivating for me and flattering beyond belief is that like I had to teach at these times because I have a business that I have to worry about, and that these competitors and these athletes and even my regular hobbyists that would come in at that early in the morning, the fact that they were making that sacrifice when they didn't have to, you know what I mean? They could definitely find a coach that taught at normal hours or went to rooms that were at normal times. But for them to consistently do that for years and years and years, and then when I was teaching up at studio, people driving well over an hour. Somebody, Trinity Pond, her dad, God bless him, man. He would drive her like 2.5 hours each way twice a week.
It's crazy, the commitment. I remember when Laura was in here,
flattering,
and she was driving fucking, I think it was like 3 hours to go to fucking class. And when you hear this, because a lot of times you'll hear they don't want to ever hear excuses because they got students that are driving hours.
Yeah.
Hours.
But how can't I want to be as smart as possible? How can I want to give them the most information possible when they're trusting me?
Yeah.
And it's not like these are, they're it's not like they're getting ready for like a local tournament. Like some of these people, like they're trying to make this their career. Like they're preparing for the biggest things, of
I love
their
seeing
life
the parents coming in and driving their kids and staying there and then picking them back up.
Hours.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool when my parents kind of understand what I'm trying to do now, and like it makes a little bit more sense to them. Where I'm like, I'm opening a restaurant. That makes way more sense than I'm going to make money off a podcast. So
Sid, your podcast with Sid, like that's like what his parents are doing for him. They're setting him. You know what they're setting him up for? They're setting him up to have a happy life. Man.
Yeah,
they're
really
setting
are.
him up to allow himself to be happy for the rest of his life.
That was one of. I mean, I love that kid, and like I said, like I knew him early on. I have all these weird relationships with all these guys because I was at such a pinnacle point of stepping into the lives of finishers and everyone in there, because it was like Thor was on the come up, Grace was on the come up, and then you have these younger guys that were teaching that are now monsters now. And it's like when he started telling me what was going on and like how his parents were just like allowing him to do that, I was like, that's so fucking cool.
And how responsible he's taking it,
because he the more he was responsible, like what a way to raise somebody too. Where like, I mean, I was definitely wild, so like that shit would not have worked with me. Right? But like for him to have a mindset like where they're like, hey man, we'll give you the responsibility, but you got to earn it, and then when you earn it, we'll give you more, but you got to keep being responsible. And then I think it's just something with. It's something that I wish I would have had. I had my basic sports, but like I don't feel like I got discipline from football. I got something from football with like really pushing yourself through. Like those practices were no fucking joke.
Man.
They probably don't.
They're probably not even allowed to do it.
Not at all. Like we used to throw
the 3 days.
Dude, they used
triple
days,
sessions. We had a week of triple sessions.
They threaten you with only one water break.
Yo, and what was your, wait, hold on. What was your water break? Because ours was a hose hooked up to a piece of PVC tube that had holes drilled.
Yeah, so like we had these old school. They basically looked like fucking chemical sprayers, and there was like 15 fucking mouthpieces that none of them were cleaned. So some motherfucker would pump it, and then it would barely come out, and you were like, give me that. No one asked, wipe that off. No one ever wiped it off. No one's doing that shit now.
Right.
No one's doing that shit now. Dude, we used to go to football games in the back of pickup trucks.
Yep.
The one guy had a back of pickup truck. And
I had a 78 LeSabre.
Highways.
You know how many people I could put on there?
Yeah. And then somebody's mom complained, and that was kind of, you would see the start of the downhill, but like, you're not getting away with any of that now. Nah. We would do 2-3 days. I mean, I stopped after, I didn't get into high school sports. I started getting, just messing around with drugs and shit too young, and then I got into skateboarding, and then just kind of went really far fucking weird and left. But like to hear somebody be that responsible at that young of an age, and then like the lights are on with that kid, and I'm just like, man, this kid's like, and he lives at that fucking gym because like his job, I think he left to do plyables, and then now he's like an employee of Finishers.
Yeah, and it shows, but it shows you that hard work. You know what I mean? What's he, 18?
I don't even know if he's 18.
He might be 17. He's worked so hard that he's in a situation where he can only go against grown men now.
Yeah. That was when
he can only go
because I remember he wanted to keep competing, and Zach was in this weird position of putting a child versus against grown men. And then when they did it, he won, and I was outside cooking burgers, and somebody would always give us the play-by-play, and they're like, oh, he's on. And then all you hear is the whole place go, rah! because they all want it, but because they see it every day in practice. But to see that dude come up and like, even on social media, he's not handling himself stupid, and like he's just putting, he's just his little toys, and like I'm like, man, I would be doing so much dumb shit, but it's cool. Like, but when you have parents like that are fucking dropping their kids off and they're taking their kids there and they're learning and all that, I think like it was a missed window where if my parents would have dropped me off at a school, I think it would have changed my life dramatically on a lot of fucking discipline things that I was lacking.
Yeah. Yeah. And for it to be something difficult like jiu-jitsu, like, man, you got to lose a lot. And imagine how tough like a room like that is. Like, not every room is like that. There's probably maybe 3 or 4 rooms in the area that'll have Thors and Graces, people like that in a room where, man, winning around is difficult. That's what I used to see at studio, man. You'd have these tough guys in there and like tough guys, tough girls in there. Dude, some of the studio rooms with the women classes, the females in the room, it was ridiculous. And like I said, like to even win a round is difficult as a competitor, and then have to come back, like to be able to shut your ego off, throw it out the door, and realize that this is all good for me and I need to keep doing this. Like, it's just going to help so much with everything else in life.
Yeah, like you figure when he was over there, it was Grace, Thor, who's out in Miami?
Gabe.
It was Grace, Thor, Gabe, Zach, JM. There's a bunch of other guys in there, but then I'm just thinking of the ones that are popping. Renee.
Yeah.
Like,
look at Renee right now, man.
Yeah. So, like, for that kid to do what he did and not stop because he felt embarrassed, or, you know what I mean? Like,
what an influence it is to see Thor and Grace. What an influence to say, like, man, look, I'm watching them. They're from this town. Why can't I do it?
Yeah.
But this sport is like that. This isn't like basketball. This isn't like football. This is a much different sport where it's very small right now. Like I said, the cream at the top, there's only 250 maybe people that are really, really at the top. And, think about, I probably know 400 people that are just on the cusp of being right there. So when this does blow up, when jiu-jitsu does go mainstream, it's going to be like when UFC got bought by whoever it was. Now they have to have a show every weekend or every other weekend. Like, they need more athletes. And
and you're
this is a very achievable goal for athletes right now if you're focusing on competing,
And it's so true what you're saying, because if you really pay attention to the UFC, I mean, what was it on first? Spike TV?
Yeah.
And then, like, so that was basically the equivalent to what, like, Spike TV was probably as big as what you could do by just being on the internet right now.
Yep.
And then it's like, then it went to Fox. And then it's like, now, like, what was crazy is seeing the guys from Bethlehem on Fight Pass.
Right.
That was nuts to me, where I was like, they're like, oh yeah, or like when they did combat jiu-jitsu, and then JM was there, but it was so cool to like, oh, Thor's competing, and then these guys were leaving here and going out there, and I'm trying to tell my friends, I'm like, yo, these dudes are fucking flying around, and they're talking to Eddie Bravo, and they're at these fucking events. It's really crazy to just kind of be on the sidelines and watching what the fuck is actually going on. It's pretty cool, because it made me appreciate a lot more things in mixed martial arts more, and then it made me want to watch more competition, to where like I will watch when it's on Fight Pass, and I will watch the combat jiu-jitsu, and then like when they do the finishers local, like they're so awesome to go to.
Yeah.
Like some of the ones where he did, like they put it up in a hotel the one time.
That was really fun.
Yeah, that was the first time where there was alcohol involved. I almost watched some dude get his fucking neck wrung. He was like running his mouth, and I was like, this is the wrong place to be doing that. But yeah, they had food and they had beer there, and then it's been really. And then when they got the new fucking place, then now they're just running events out of there.
It's so fun doing the promos.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's really cool with jiu-jitsu now too, man. Is seeing like the production.
It's like old WWF.
Like, oh man, that looks really cool. I'm gonna up my production value, and I think that's good for the sport, because we need outsiders to watch this.
Yeah.
We need it to be entertaining for other people. So that's why with commentary I try to be, as enthusiastic as possible, like what I would want to hear, while still try to explain to somebody who has no idea what's going on in front of them. I think I'll tell you who I think does a really good job at that is Fury. The the one that's at 2300 Arena. That's the one where they're on Fight Pass, so they have that Fight Pass budget to put on, and I get to do the commentary for that with CM Punk and John Morgan.
Yeah.
They had Din Thomas in there to one time.
I like him.
Camera angles from everywhere. Just a really, really professional look. And you see the stuff that was just on Fight Pass, the stuff that Flo's putting out, these Who's Number Ones. Have you watched any of the Who's Next show?
No, I haven't. I saw Renee putting it out, and then I didn't get a chance to watch it. And then I talked to Zach about it, and he started kind of explaining the whole thing. And I'm like, dude, it's crazy. Like, what's awesome is to watch how separated everything was and how it's all starting to come together and everybody's starting to work with each other and they're kind of just all going to the same goal, and it's really close to that. But when Renee was out on there, like, we were going to have him on the podcast, and he had people in town, and, you know, I'll circle back with him. Like, that was so cool to see him get an opportunity like that. And now there's other people at other schools are like, oh, well, I want to get on Who's Number One. I want to get on Finishers. I want to get in over at Fury. And everything's starting to connect where, you know, you also start seeing people where they're taking bare knuckle boxing stuff because it's a way better deal than trying to get into the UFC.
Is it almost like people are trying to get into bare knuckle?
Dude,
I feel like they can't wait till their contract's done so they can go to bare knuckle.
Dude, I went to a bare knuckle boxing match on, I believe it was upstate because I think they can only do them at Indian casinos now. So it was the Mohegan Sun. They got me second row seats for only two. There was 4 of us supposed to go. There was an ice storm and only 2 of us could go. We went up there. That was so awesome. It was so intense. The crowd was so raw and you're yelling and stuff. In my opinion, I think bare knuckle boxing is going to be bigger than Bellator because it's easy. I love UFC. I watch fights all the time. I want to watch Bellator. I never know when or where I follow them on social media and I don't know when the fuck it is.
It's crazy with that, right?
It's crazy. Bare knuckle boxing, they are coming out the fucking gate. They're signing everybody, and who's ever running it has money.
Yeah.
Dude, we went, they put on a hell of a show. We went to the casino. We're fucking drinking afterwards. It's just me and my buddy. All the fighters come down because it's still a young sport. So it's like everybody comes back down to the casino bar. The owner of the whole fucking thing sitting next to us. There's this girl icing her whole fucking face, and they're talking about a contract. And I'm like, this is crazy. But then I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the show to start fucking bringing bare knuckle, because there's not anybody giving a platform to bare knuckle boxing. They have their own little things, but I was like, yo, I could start chipping off these bare knuckle guys. And like I said, in my opinion, I think it's going to be neck and neck down the road. It's so exciting to watch. Because there's a core group who we just want to watch fist fights or competition every Saturday. So if UFC is not on, yo, is bare knuckle on? And bare knuckle will give you 56 fucking matches. They're over in a couple minutes, and people, like, they give you the early stuff where you can see, like, the guy who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and he gets lit up. He's got, like, some devil tattooed on his face. You know what I mean? Like, the wild shit. But then when you get further on, you start seeing the technique. Then you start seeing, you know, different people. Like, you know, like, they got Mike Perry over there now. And
I was so happy they got him. Like, he's perfect for that.
But Bellator is smart, too, because now they're letting Bellator is allowing Bellator fighters to go over to bare knuckle, which UFC never did.
Wow.
Because now Mike Perry's fighting Michael Venom Page in fucking Europe.
Wow.
And he's still under Bellator. I think that's correct. But
wait, he's fighting MVP in a
bare knuckle boxing. I think it might be this weekend over in Europe.
Wow.
But
yeah, and I'll tell you, with what you're saying, like, all right, so I do comment. I am probably the biggest jiu-jitsu fan. It's just submission grappling, no-gi submission grappling. I absolutely love it. I commentate MMA too. I commentate for Ring of Combat and then Dead Serious MMA. I would much rather see 2 skilled strikers in a fight, in my opinion. In my opinion, don't get me wrong. When they go to the ground, I love seeing, but it's usually not the jiu-jitsu that I really like, which is technical, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I enjoy. I get it's not a real fight. I get all that. I enjoy that type of jiu-jitsu. When it's in an MMA fight, like, I don't know how the person on the bottom just isn't kicking and pushing away to try to get back up to the feet. Like it's just a bad spot to be in when you're underneath somebody and they're throwing strikes. But I would much rather, as much as a jiu-jitsu fan, when I commentate MMA, I actually get to commentate the MMA with Al Iaquinta.
That's so awesome.
He is the man. Love Al.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch stand-up wars. I love two
it
guys.
Was,
that
it's so violent, and like when we went live, and it's not super popular. Where like you could get fantastic seats, and have a great night and not break the bank. So, dude, we were. It was so violent. You would hear every. Yeah, and like I'm like, dude, that was the first time ever I saw a fucking walk-off KO. The ring's tight, so like where we were sitting straight on. So like it just happened to come where it was dead on, and the dude was like, pow, and he walked back, and I saw this dude go, whoop, boom, and I stood up. I'm grabbing my buddy, and I'm going, let's go.
It's probably my favorite thing to call.
Yeah,
commentate. But a one-shot knockout is just so fun.
And what's cool about it too is now you have fucking boxers coming in it. So the one guy that came in was a decorated boxer, and I forget his fucking name.
Man, he was is rough. He was
a decorated boxer from Europe, and he like really fantastic record. But he. Okay, well, am I going to go try and get a real fight in boxing, or can I get paid real fucking money right now and light people up? So they had him with like basically a brawler. But it's pretty much what's going to be with fucking Perry and MVP. And then this guy he didn't get touched. He pieced the other dude up. Now you're watching fantastic boxing, so you're getting you get your brawls, definitely get your brawls, and then when somebody catches somebody in that, or they put two brawlers up, you got these fucking cavemen just, dude, it was a blast to watch. As soon as it came out, it was real shady when it first came out, because I remember the first couple fights they were in like these.
they had
tables. Yeah, they had tables.
Yeah.
People were eating like spaghetti. Then it started going and going and going, and you could see where the money's going, and they're trying to get the production in, but like. For what they were doing there, like they had a hype guy in between round because it's production, So like,
absolutely.
The guy's like, all right, he's like, so in between when it was a commercial break or whatever the fuck they were doing, there's a guy in the ring and he's going, let's go, and he's like, let's fucking go. This is gonna be the last round. I want to hear this fucking crowd.
Yeah.
And you're all fucked up, and you're like, yeah, let's go. So like, and then the refs, and it was cool because Dan, who's the ball guy? Dan Migliotta. So Migliotta. So my butt, like, and he's taking pictures because now you got UFC fans. They're like, "Yo, Migliotta," and we're all like yelling out to him. We're like, "What's up?" And
he was a judge.
He was one of the.
That's cool.
He was either one of the judges or I think he was a judge. Yeah. And then because they have the refs in there. But like they do and they have the ring card girls, and I'm like, yo, this is fucking dope. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't get this feeling from Bellator. I like watching Bellator, but half the time it doesn't seem like they're there yet. And the fact that they're not there yet, to me, is peculiar because you have a shitload of money, and how haven't you got there? Like, you just keep changing your networks, and like you're over on Showtime, and I'm like, well, who the fuck's gonna watch this? I was only watching it because somebody gave me their Showtime. I ain't signing up with Showtime to watch Bellator. Meanwhile, you can either find a way to watch bare knuckle boxing, or you can pay $5
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it'd probably cost you $100 for the year to watch bare knuckle boxing without a feed getting disrupted.
And that's where you're going to get people who aren't even boxing fans and stuff like that.
Because we just want to watch fights. Because there's times down here where I'll have bare knuckle on this TV and the UFC's on the other one, and there's no volume here, but we're watching. Or when there's a big, like Jake Paul sometimes will fall on shit like that, where like, dude, we're watching everything down here. It's a good fucking time. So like, we'll have shit on multiple TVs. Bare knuckle, I would hope you would eventually commentate for bare knuckle. That would be dope.
So I genuinely get excited, man. I genuinely get excited when I'm commentating. So that's why the producers probably hate it, because my voice will just go up and down because I just get so excited with it. But yeah, man, that is something that would be really, really fun to do, man.
Yeah, I love that you're into all this different stuff and everything. I knew exactly what this would be. And I don't want to keep you here too long just because we're over an hour now and you still have to drive home. But like, where are you at now with everything? Where are you at with like your competition, or are you coaching with anybody? Like, you seem to be at a very good place in life, like you said, like your kid, and you have this business that you helped be a part of, and now you're owning in it, and then you're still coaching, but you're back getting into jiu-jitsu. Like, it just kind of seems like the more hard work you put into it, the more successful you are in life. So, like, what hard work are you doing right now?
So I think the hard work is done for me.
That's a good feeling, too.
The hard work. Now it's everything that kind of I want to do. But I've already done a lot of the fun things that I really wanted to do.
You've had so many incredible experiences.
I have, yeah. I've been incredibly lucky with the experiences. But for me, I'm getting surgery on the knee, and when that's fixed, I really feel like I'll be good. When I've been training since August, like, I've only been able to go like 50-60% maybe. I'm not even really trying to like submit people. Like, I've just been trying to make sure everything that I've learned, like, I'm getting to try everything now. So when this is fixed and I'm able to go full speed, I'm pretty sure that I want to compete again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because it's been a long time, so I'm pretty sure I want to do that. I'm really lucky too, in where, like I said, I'm not really coaching. I guess you could say I kind of I'm a consultant for some athletes, where they'll call me. I'll help them out with some things, whether it's negotiating contracts, helping out, just being a middleman for matches, being a middleman for sponsors. I'll get promoters too they'll call and say, hey, I need somebody for this and this, and so I have the pool of people that I'll work with to help out, and I enjoy that. I enjoy not having to hustle for it, but I can help them, these young competitors.
Yeah. It always feels
understanding.
Like,
I know business. I know how to talk to another business. You're 22 years old. I get you don't know how to negotiate a contract with somebody.
It's so impressive to hear all the different things that you do, and all of it comes back to coaching.
Yeah.
It all comes back to that coach changing your life, then you getting into coaching because of that moment, whether it was subconsciously or not. In my opinion, that is what the catalyst of all this was. And then now coaching is a part of your life, whether you're a father, whether you're coaching in business, whether you're coaching the athletes. And then now you're at a point where people are still coming to you for life advice, and then you're coaching them in that. And then, like, that is so important to have somebody watch your back. And I feel like that's so selfless of you to have grown up without a father, and then to have had that moment, and then to be there for anyone not understanding if they have that or not. You're facilitating that because it was something that you didn't have, and then when you got it, it was so important to you that that's all you do is give that to everyone. And I think it's incredible that you do that.
I appreciate it, Mike, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even realize a lot of that until you just said it. And I appreciate that.
It's the whole point of why I do this. It's the whole point of why I like getting into this conversation, is to show who people are. And very few times I'm able to do it, but you're just a very open and honest person, and you're so genuine in what you do. But, like, that's who you are as a person to your core, and it's fucking awesome that you do that, man.
Yeah, I'm lucky. And again, I'm surrounded by amazing people from the moment I wake up till the moment I go to bed. The promoters that I get to work with, the athletes that I help get to talk to, the people that I get to train with, because that's another thing too. Like, it's hard for me to like get through a class with my knee and everything, and like I had all these awesome schools around South Jersey that would just let me come in. They let me show a technique or something, and then just let me train, you know what I mean, and let me just move around, so I'm not doing technique. So I'm really surrounded by, just amazing people from the time I wake up. So for me to, like, I just feel like I just want to, you know what I mean? You want to give back to these people. You want to help any way you can with these people.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you have a good group and a good core around you, and life becomes easier because you're able to do the things that you love, you want to give that back to people. And like, that's how this show started, and it was just an idea. And then, like, the group with like Jer and I just became friends with all these guys who do camera work and production. And like, I look back at my life, and when I was a kid, I used to make home movies in the basement with my brother. And then the one day I was down here, and I'm like, dude, this is what you were doing when you were a kid. Yeah. And then now you've just transcended into doing this. But it's like, I try and do anything for any of the people that have helped me. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Jaron, his wife, I'm going to be opening up a business with his wife to do food, but like they trust me with their children. And I'm always like, hey man, like I'm trying right now. I'm trying to get the two of them to go on vacation because I want to do like an Uncle Buck weekend with the kids. And I keep telling them like, yo, we're going to go bowling. I'm like, we're making pancakes.
Great movie, man. I miss Candy.
Yeah,
Uncle Buck.
Yeah. So like, to me, it's like I keep telling them too. I'm like, yo, get out of here. I'm like, I'll stay at the house. I'm like, I'll Uncle Buck the shit out of this. And like, I'm like, you guys ever go on laser light bowl? And they're like, what? And then they're like, can we go roller skating? I'm like, there's still a place open. I was like, let's go. So like, you know, I always try and give back. It's like I try and do it when I have people on the show, and you know, that's what this has become. And it's like I'm so grateful to be able to do this for a living. I mean, yes, I took an extremely large amount of risk, and it did pay off.
Yeah.
And for some people, it's not gonna, but for me, to even be able to say that it's paying off in a very small dividend where I can run a business now and like run a food place and do something for the town and do all this. It's like my payback for anyone who's ever bought a fucking t-shirt off of me, whoever fucking helped me out during my sobriety, them, you know, the small amount of people who didn't give a fuck when I got done being sober. It's like no one ever asks about that. And it's like one day I'd really like to get into that or write about it, but it's like, you know, I'm never asked about how it was when I went back to drinking. It's always just like, you know how many people told me it was a mistake, and then I'm opening up a restaurant. It's like, yeah, man, like I just wanted my life back.
Yeah.
But it's like it's important to give back, and it's important when you're allowed to do what you want to do for a living, or you have a passion like that. You should give back to the people that allow it to be easier for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've done a lot of that, and I really think that Bare Knuckle should definitely. Yo, I keep telling everybody, like I told Zach and shit, I'm like, yo, when it comes back around, like I'm gonna try and get heads to go up there. Like it's
I went to the tryouts in Philly just to watch. They did the tryouts in Philly back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking, oh man, this had to be, it was a 2300 arena. I'm going to say it was probably probably before 2019. It was probably 2018 that they had the bare knuckle tryouts over in Philly. I can't remember what they were doing. They had them doing in the ring stuff. Man, they even had somebody there like they had a old UFC fighter there too, like running the show. I can't remember who it was.
It's crazy how many people they're sucking up there too.
Yeah.
Like where you see some of the fighters went over like
Jeez, they feel like they're almost leaving. They can't wait till their contract's up so they can go to
because I mean Paige went over there, and then what's her name? I think it's Pearl. She's over there now. And then like she just moved to New York. I hit her up on Instagram. I'm like, you're close. Do my show.
Pearl Gonzalez?
Yeah. Somebody was like, we got your email and we were going to give it to her. Like it's not her running that.
She's
DM.
awesome.
Yeah. But I was like, that's close. But like the new studio is definitely going to look sexier.
Yeah.
And I can definitely pull. I can pull people who are. It's going to be worth that drive. So like, but I'm really obsessed with just really opening that door. There's so many fucking talented people that are going there. And then it's like people are like, cool, I'm not going to chase after a title in UFC again. I'm going to go make 20 times the money doing 5 or 6 fucking bare knuckle boxing.
You probably have to do a quarter of the press. Probably have to do a quarter. You know what I mean? Probably have to do
because they're not even set up
so
to do
much
press
less work.
like that. Yeah. Like they tried. They're trying to do more work with the Mike Perry one, where they're doing like sit down interviews, and they're trying to do it more like. Remember when McGregor was doing the 1-on-1s?
Yeah.
Like they were doing stuff like that. And then what's cool is seeing like Perry get his shine, and like he's doing like bigger podcast and like promoting it. And I was like, oh, all right, I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
But from a fighter getting paid, they're not having to do what when they did the Aldo McGregor fucking world tour.
Exactly. That cuts into all the training, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like seeing a lot of people go over there. It gets exciting because who did they have over, or who's over there now? Chad Mendez, dude. And you could tell it was a little difficult for him to get into bare knuckle, but he still fucked the dude up. And then I was like, ooh, once Mendez understands it, because I think I watched 3 of Paige's fights, and she's just because the rounds are faster, and they're like the MMA guys are going over, and immediately they're like, ooh, this is way different than the 5-minute rounds, because I think it's 3 minutes.
You can't really skirt around anywhere.
You're kind of forced to just fucking stand and bang.
Yeah.
In a sense of like, and then I'm sure training for that's totally different because it's a 3-minute round.
Yeah.
Like it's exciting to watch the crossover, but Mendez looked fucking good.
And a lot of times they're going against somebody who's trying to knock them the fuck out. You know what I mean? Their shine's going to be knocking out Paige, knocking out. You know what I mean?
I think Paige has got another one coming up, but They're doing events, man. They're fun to follow, and then it's cool. Like like I said, my buddy asked me the other day. He's like, "Yo, when's it coming back up there?" Because it's probably like a 4.5 hour drive. But this time we're gonna go out because we went up Saturday, watched the fight, slept over, came back. This time he's like, because they do the presser and the weigh-in and all that, where he's like, yo, let's go up fucking Friday morning, go to the fucking presser and watch all that shit, get the hype. Dude, it was fun. It's so awesome. We wore suits. We wore suit coats. So like I have a suit coat collection, and I brought, like, my buddy always likes wearing like smoking jackets out. So it was us who was wearing that and their announcer. The rest was all like Stone Cold t-shirts. So people like thought we worked there. We were just getting fucked up. It was a good time, man.
But that's what's so cool is it's just bringing in fans, man. It's bringing people in. Yeah. You know?
Because then you start bullshitting with people, and then it's MMA fans. You know what I mean? It's MMA or boxing fans.
It's not like you can practice bare knuckle boxing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like it's something that people are practicing around the world, right?
Did you ever see the
Snatch?
Well,
you kidding me?
Snatch I love, but what was it? The one documentary, it was on like the Irish families that like they have the feuds that last for forever.
To see that.
What the fuck is the name of that? I'll find out and I'll send it to you. It was on Netflix for a while, and it was basically how like these like these gypsy families, like kind of like probably what like Fury's lines connect to, where like they literally like back in the day would make like a VHS tape and be like, say this shit about their family name, and then would mail it to them, and then they would respond, and then they would send these tapes back and forth till they finally had this fight. But it wasn't, it's what you think it is. It's like these two dudes ripping butts out in a field where there's sheep everywhere, and everyone's, and then I think there's money involved, and like, of course it's gypsies, so like they're throwing the fight. Like, I'll figure out the name of it. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't know if it is, but it's probably on YouTube at this point. But it was, I love that. I love that shit. I love the snatch culture. I love the bare knuckles culture. So like that's as close as you're gonna get to it to watch on TV. But yeah, I love, like you, man. Like I love watching competition. I'll watch the jiu-jitsu stuff, especially when the 10th Planet guys are in it. I'll watch the fucking combat jiu-jitsu. I'll watch the finishers. I'll watch EBI. It's like, it's just the more you get into, instead of just being pigeonholed, the more I just started realizing, like, dude, if we don't have that on a Saturday, like when they took fights away, dude, we were fucking weird, because I was like, dude, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? There's no fights this week. And then they brought him back, and there was no crowd, and I didn't give a fuck, because then you could hear it.
For sure.
You could hear the corners.
That was
yelling.
with WWE. I forgot that.
Oh yeah, they did
WWE
that too.
did the screens like this, and you had did you see that?
Yeah, where they had like the crowd.
The crowd was all screens, and you paid. You paid to get your face on.
One day, your kid and other generations will be talking about that shit in a history class of how fucking weird it was, and the stupid shit where they couldn't buy toilet paper.
Of all things.
Yeah, that was crazy.
You know, it's funny. I'm a supply store, so I had everything like at my fingertips.
Good for you. I just bought a bidet.
So I saw it in there.
Yeah. Bidets are where it's at. I want a bidet sponsor eventually. I think that one's a life changer. The other guests like, you got a bidet? I was like, yeah. The second time they were like, we're out of toilet paper. I'm like, I'm done. Done. Give me a garden hose. I don't want to hold you up longer. It's fucking 8:30. And you got to drive back. Thank you so much for coming on. We're definitely, when I get that new studio up, we got to do like a bare knuckle commentary thing to watch.
Yeah, man.
You've always been a blast. You've always been nice to me. You like my food, which makes it awesome. And then I want to do more stuff. It's too easy to talk to you, and this wasn't even fucking an interview or work.
Right.
But you have an incredible story. I want to give you a chance to kind of plug where you're at, what to follow, if you just want to promote fighters or anything that's a part of what you're doing, your business. I just want to give you the time to kind of plug all that.
I appreciate it. Mike, appreciate you having me
on.
Of
course,
now,
man.
Just real quick. So the first time I had one of your burgers, I don't remember what Smashburger, I don't remember what finishers it was, but a lot of times, you remember I even messaged you early to one time. I'm like, yo, I gotta order these because normally I don't get to them in time. Somebody brought me one in. I'm commentating, so I can't eat while I'm commentating. I've never even gotten up from a bathroom to commentate. I'm on my way home, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm starving. Bro, it was the best burger. And you're talking, it was handed to me, and I didn't start eating it until about 3 hours later. I don't know if I was that hungry or what, but it was the best burger I have ever had.
I appreciate that. That burger, nobody realizes, was about 2 years in the I don't talk about the burger enough, but one, because I don't make it to be something. That got developed by us watching fights, and I was coming out of I cooked for somebody and it went very bad. And I hated cooking because of somebody making me hate it. And when I got back into it, I realized how much I loved cooking. And what came out of that, my love for cooking, was that cheeseburger. So I started making food down here for the fights, and I started fucking around with burgers because I was really into George Moats, and my buddy Angelo came down here and we made a burger together, and I just started figuring out about smash burgers, but I would make unique different things for the fights. For a while, whoever was main eventing, we would pick one of the fighters and what country they were from. That's what food it would be. It's so much fun.
I wish I lived closer, dude.
Yeah,
I wish I lived closer.
So like we would do Mexican food. We would try and push the boundaries if it was somebody that. So sometimes we would just go easy and be like, it's DC, we're getting Popeyes, because he was like trying to get, who was trying to get sponsored? Derek Lewis was trying to get sponsored by somebody. So we would do shit like that. So then when I started fucking around with the burger, my buddies kept saying, you can sell this, you can sell this, you can sell this. And I'm like, And then so I started putting it through tests where like everybody would leave, and then I would like wrap the burgers up, and then sometimes everyone would be leave and I'd just be half in the bag and I would eat it cold. And I was like, this burger's fucking good cold. And then I would eat them the next day and I would just microwave them, because if you microwave that burger for like 12 to 15 seconds, I forget what the correct time is, it's just as good. So like if you eat it right off the grill, it's all right. If you eat it when it's wrapped up and in the heat box and it all comes together, that's the best way to eat it. But if you can also eat it cold, and then when I develop food now, it's that set the catalyst of the test. So when we do test kitchen shit and I'm posting pictures of bagels and sandwiches and shit, I wrap that up and it goes in a warmer for like 30 minutes.
Is that by design? Like,
yeah, well, now everything is by design to do it that way.
But how did you figure out that it was better that way? Just by eating it and be like, oh my God, it tasted so much better.
Well, when I would do finishers, I couldn't make them to order, and there was a long line. And then I remember the one day they were waiting for the burgers in the rain, and then people were coming to the pop-up that were not fucking with jiu-jitsu. They just wanted the food. So there would be this big line, and Zach and JM allowing me to do food was the catalyst for all this shit, because Zach would always be like, well, we want to do food, and I'd always be like, yeah, I want to do food. And then when it came down to it, they were like, do it. And like, I have Zach and JM telling me to do it. I can't back off. I'm the third wheel of trying to act like I don't give a fuck on this show. So when I had to do that, a buddy of mine, Chris Muma, had a warmer. And I remember him telling me that whether you put something hot or cold in it, it holds the temperature. So I was like, Gina, I'm like, let's pre-make at least 10 to 20 burgers and put them in the warmer, and then that'll blow through the line. So when Sid and all these guys are up front waiting, there's at least 10 to 15 guys there. So that 15 would then hold everybody over. So then all I had to do is keep feeding the hot box. And then that was the only way that I could keep up with the food. But then we realized from like when it would slow down, we would eat a burger. And then I was like, these are better when they're wrapped up and they're in the hot box. So crazy. Now like what I kind of do is develop all the food where if I'm doing it, like, it'll be different in the restaurant, but like doing pop-ups, you have to figure out a way to sell the food in the most efficient manner. So like if I want to do a fried chicken sandwich and I wrap that up and keep it in there, it's not going to be a crispy chicken sandwich. It's just going to be mush. You know, that like Chick-fil-A in some places do a good job where you get it home and it's kind of like a fried chicken sandwich. But if you make a fried chicken sandwich and you eat it there, it's different than taking it home. So a lot of the stuff we just kind of developed on like, all right, well, can it stay in the hot box? So then like when we make sandwiches now, like we put them in the hot box for like 10 to 15 minutes and see how they hold over. And if they don't hold over well, it's not going to reheat well. It's not going to be good cold. But when you hit all of those aspects, and it's very difficult to do, and I don't think I've ever done it with anything except the burger, is it's better when it's in the warmer. It's not bad to eat on your ride home. Like if I have leftovers, I don't put them in the fridge. I'll leave them out like on the counter because then they stay room temperature, and then you just reheat them. I think if you put them in, you can put them in the fridge, but like the best way is to like leave it out. And that I only knew that because we would get so fucked up down here. I would wake up and there would just be food out from the night before, and then I was like, all right, cool, I'm not going anywhere. I'm hungover. I'm gonna eat this burger. And then I would start being. Then I started like, texting Gina and being like, yo, this fucking burger is really fucking good the next day. And then she's an adult and has a family, so she's like, like, well, I put mine in the fridge. She's like, that also is really good. And then she's like, you know, and I always go back to, well, what you know your kid. I'm sure he doesn't lie about anything. Hey, does this food suck? No. Yes, it sucks.
Terrible.
So like the kids wouldn't mind the food microwaved, and then that's kind of like how that whole thing was like the very first thing that I ever made, which is why it is the way it is, because it was my love for cooking and coming back to it, where I gave a shit about something so simple and made it almost a perfect cheeseburger. Yeah,
it's
but
amazing.
I don't pat myself on the back for a lot of shit. I mean, I give myself credit now because the further I go, I'm past where I thought I would be. So like, for that burger and the amount of feedback, like I've had too many people tell me it's that good for me not, you know, in the beginning I'm like, cool, whatever, you're my friends. But like the dudes from Finishers, they know me from the show, but like they don't have to lie to me. They just could take the burger and be like, thanks.
Don't even have to bring it up after that. Yeah, exactly.
When the guys come back for like 3, and you know what I mean? And fucking... you have people like Sid and his little brother and Jimbo. You know, Jimbo's always
I called
like,
you the day
give me a
before.
triple. Yeah. See, what Laura was the first one to really say something about it, because we kept selling out and we kept moving the number up every time, but you don't want to buy 250 hamburgers because you're eventually going to go too far. So we kind of found the number that would just move, and then it was, you know, I was like, all right, cool. So like I remember Laura being like, I wanted a burger for John, and then it started being a thing where like people would contact me and be like, yo, like I felt so bad because this guy always came late, and every time he didn't get a burger. And then it was like, that's when people started showing up early. That's when people started coming there and standing there, and then would just stand there and be like, I'm getting a fucking burger. I'd have people stand there and be like, I'm getting a fucking burger, motherfucker. And I'd be like, I'm not the one doing anything wrong. I said, talk to the dudes who are stoned and buying 10 of them. But then Jimbo would come over and be like, can I get a double? And then we'd started making double burgers. Then it started turning into triple burgers. And then I ran out of burgers so fast once because I was doing doubles and triples, where like the last time I was up there, I was like, yo, I'm not doing doubles and triples, because it was fucking over half the people there. And then like people were genuinely pissed off because they waited all day to eat it, but like I can't bring too many burgers and go home with burgers. So like we always sold out at Finishers. We always, but like that's where this started. And like they gave me, you know, when you start building something, when you have 3 people in a room who take a lot of risks but are responsible but also don't give a fuck, you start really developing things on like what Finishers turned into, and like what Never Again. Like I learned how to produce podcasts because when I started doing Now We Go with them, I was pretty much the producer and was just hanging in, and it was always about jujitsu. So like or when I do Zach's show, I was producing. I don't know enough about jujitsu. Like I surprisingly hung in this conversation, but I definitely could have got lost. So like, I pay attention to what's going on out of the respect to the people listening, and I'm sure people will be like, oh, idiot, bare knuckle, whatever. I expect it. So, you know, when you have these people doing things, and I'm sure it's very similar to what was around you when you're doing things, you just start, unique things come out of it. So like, you know, if you look at like where Finishers went, and then it went into Now We Go, and then they each had their own separate podcasts, ended well. I learned how to produce podcasts. Yep. But now I'm going to get paid to do that in the next spot, because I don't got time to sit around and do shit for free anymore. Like the incubator is gone. Now there's like money on the table, and I'm not paying the rent I'm paying here. It's quadrupled. So like, you know, it's interesting that you brought that up. No one really ever, I try and share tidbits of my story, but I've never been interviewed, and no one really ever talks to me about the burger on air. But like, yeah, that's the story of the burger. Like the burgers, it's fucking legit. I'm proud of it. It took a long time. It took a long time of me doing that to get it. It was probably 2 years of making burgers to understand. And what's funny is the original burger was smoked cheddar cheese, bacon, onions, and I think it was just mayonnaise. And then I started fucking around with the mayo, and then the mayo became something people talked about. And then it wasn't affordable to use bacon. You're talking like an extra $300 to $400.
Yeah.
Like, and then that's if you buy correct bacon, because you can't, if you put shitty bacon on, now you just have shitty bacon on a burger.
Yeah.
Like you would want
You want it to make a difference.
Yeah.
You want it to be like, oh fuck, that's
But then
bacon.
I also remember the first finishers I did, I was like, oh, I'll just make the bacon here. But then you don't realize that takes 25 minutes. Now someone smells bacon, now you got a line. And then I'm like, motherfucker. And then the cheese never worked out right. A guy just suggested it, and I was like, all right, I'll try the cheese. And then when I switched it to the Cooper cheese, like,
dude, Cooper Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That cheese is no joke. I'll use it for everything.
It's the only thing I buy.
Yeah, it's
Only thing I buy.
And then like Sailors, you know, a friend of mine, Muma, he hooked me up with Tim over at Sailors, and then, you know, I buy my meat from a butcher, you know, because a lot of people were like, yo, you're crazy, that's so much more expensive. And I'm like, the burger is like, dude, I went down there to pick up burger, and they were grinding it into a bag, and then they're like, here you go. Like, cool, yeah, I can go get tubed burger from fucking, you know, from the restaurant store, but that's everyone else's burger.
Yep.
And then when I did that, and then the Martin's bun was always a thing, but then I had to get to make it affordable, I had to call Martin's, and then like, it's so funny looking back on it, how much work went into a fucking cheeseburger. So like when I called Martin's, they were like, hey, the guy who goes through Nazareth won't drop a case of rolls off, because I get one case, it's 72 rolls, and he's like, he won't do it, it's not enough. So then some guy named Dustin called me, and he's like, hey, they reached out to me, where are you located? And I said, Nazareth. And he's like, well, I don't go through Nazareth. And I go, well, where can I meet you? I'll meet you anywhere. And he's like, well, I go through Wind Gap. And I said, my parents live in Wind Gap. And he goes, well, I go on 512. I said, my parents live on 512. I said, you know where Saddle Drive is? He goes, yeah, I pass it. I go, if you drop it off there, I'll leave the money out, and then I'll take the rolls from there. And then that's how I started getting my rolls, which is crazy, because at that point, I was just running the entire business of that food illegally. So like, I don't have a kitchen.
The fact that you're able to get the quality product that you're getting is amazing.
So like, and then and I never forget that. And then Dustin sold the route to a guy who I work with now, and I told him, I said, when I open up that restaurant, I said, I'm going to need a lot of rolls for Friday nights, and I want to do between 300 and the most 1,000 burgers.
Yeah.
I would like to do that kind of volume, and I think it's possible, because I've done 150 to 225 at a finisher's parking lot.
Yeah.
So like, having a restaurant and people who don't have food around here can walk there, it's cool numbers. And I told him, I said, I will give you all that business, and I don't care if I got to go to my mom's and pick up those hamburger rolls. That fucker in Nazareth ain't getting any of that business, because he did. But that's how I do everything. If you help me out in the littlest sense, I'll give you the shirt off my back. If you help me grow something, and then like opening up that restaurant, you know, I used to work for a floor guy. I called him immediately. I'm like, hey, can you restore these floors? He's like, well, it's just me and my dad. I go, cool. Richard used to work for you. I used to work for you. My brother used to work for you. I texted all them, and they're like, yeah, we're definitely in. So I told DJ, I'm like, we're getting the band back together. But like, I want him to have that business, because there was a point in my life where I texted him and said, I need a job right now. I need to jump out of a window. I'm in a very terrible situation. Can you help me? Yes, you have a job. I always repay that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's important to do that. But yeah, that was the burger. I don't want to talk about myself anymore. I hate
Cooper Sharp. Cooper Sharp is a game changer now.
Did you ever have the cracked pepper Cooper Sharp?
No.
It's good. It's good.
Do they have it in stores, or do you gotta like?
Well, the butcher I fuck with, they have it. I think Giant sells it. You just gotta look.
Yeah.
It's kind of like regionally based on
where I go, it's only always the regular. But
if you get the pepper, like, I've only had it once. I want to try it again, but you can definitely like, you know, like, hey, I want to put that on a burger.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be good on a burger, but like a steak burger where you would do like mayo and A1 and fucking caramelized onions, and then like.
See, you look at ingredients like I look at jiu-jitsu technique.
Yes, I want
the best.
Yeah,
I
like
want the best.
I'm looking into. I want to make a liquid Cooper cheese that I want to.
Oh my god! Is it pop? Does it melt like that?
Yeah. Well, it's any cheese does, except for mozzarella. It's hard.
Yeah.
That mozzarella is really the only one that's hard to do. So I started watching. So like all week I've been been watching beer cheese recipes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like, yes, how you watch hours and hours of that. Like I get into, because I it's hard for me to comprehend reading. So the fastest way for me to comprehend is I'm a big fan of YouTube and watching things and audiobooks and all that shit. So I'll sit down here and start watching YouTube videos, and I'll be like, okay, now I have the general idea of how I want to do this. Then I take that. It's exactly what you do.
Like me and you are the same person. You're describing.
So like what I do is I watch it, and then I haven't done it, but I know I can do it because I have the skill set. So then what I'll do is I'll be like, all right, well, I want to take this, move that around, do this. Okay, let's try it out. So then we get into a test kitchen, and then I take my crazy idea and I take it up to Gina, and then she's a normal person. So she's like, all right, this is too fucking wild. And then we dial it in, and then we do a couple test runs. That's how we do the bagels too.
Yeah.
The
bagels. I had a bagel sandwich the last time. That was.
Yeah. The bagels are wild, man. They're going to be coming out of that oven fresh, and like that's what's going to be cool is that if you show up at 6:15 when we open, you could literally have a hot bagel. Which
the problem is, I don't think enough people know what a good bagel is.
Yes.
They think a shitty bagel is a good bagel.
Yeah, that's why I'm
yours.
excited to open because I didn't know what a good bagel was until, I have friends through the network. So the flour we started getting for the bagels is like imported from Italy, and like it's this company that's just coming together. So when we switched that, we went from house flour to real flour. Then we went from real flour to like flour people can't get unless you like know how to get into it. So like when we started doing that, that's when it changed, and then that's when we had the recipe down, and then now it's like like we developed the pineapple bagel. We're working on a French toast bagel, and then we're gonna do Monte Cristos. I don't know if you ever got into them in a diner. Yeah. So but then it's like I like pushing it to the boundary where I want to make we're gonna make like a raspberry aioli, and then use that as our base, and then we're gonna do like a maple bacon flavor, and then we're doing Cubans. Like the big thing to me is like
Cuban. I had the Cuban last time.
Yeah, the Cuban fucking bangs, but now we're gonna do the Cuban on a bagel. So we developed a sourdough bagel because I wanted to start being able to put like Philly style sandwiches and get that. Or I'm sorry, we made a semolina bagel, which I don't even know if anyone really does. I could be wrong, but I didn't find it anywhere. So we took semolina flour and developed a semolina bagel, and now with that semolina bagel I can make like turkey clubs and sandwiches, and I can put a cheesesteak on it. So like the semolina bagel opened the door to be like, okay, cool, like when we do a special on a sandwich, instead of being like, oh, I want it on an everything bagel, now it's on a fucking sesame seed fucking semolina bagel.
Cooper Sharp.
So now with the semolina bagel, it's a bagel and a semolina roll, so you can create any sandwich off that. Then I started deep frying meatballs last week, and we almost got our meatball recipe down, and then when that's done, we're gonna make a garlic bread bagel, and then I got a guy so like
dude, I never heard of a garlic bread bagel.
So we want to, but like now we know what we're doing, so like we just developed a couple of bagels, but then it's like you kind of just take the same recipe and move it around. So it's like, all right, well, let's fucking add sauteed garlic into this, and like let's leave bigger chunks because you want like the chunks kind of sticking out of the bagel, and then it's like, all right, well, how do we up the flour? We're gonna do a lot of shit, man. Like I'm excited to open because it'll kind of be like I don't like this, like how Finishers got that big setup they have, like that. This is my big setup.
Yeah, what do you have the name?
The Belvedere. So it's on Belvedere Street.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna call Belvedere the Belvedere Artisan Bagels and Coffee. Nice. And like I'm kind of letting my two friends involved. I already have my passion project, which is this, so I don't need to do that through that. So I'm kind of letting my co-owners do whatever. They really know style, and I really know what they want to do, and what they want to do is going to be successful, but I also know what it's like to have a passion project. So I'm just stepping aside and being like, have at it. You guys, because I know what it's like to do that. And that project for me is about money.
And you're still getting to be creative. Like creative
the TV
as
studio.
Hell, dude.
Yeah, so like I still got the TV studio. I can still build that, and then now I know what I'm doing, so like I don't need two passion projects. So to me, the Belvedere is where I'm going to make money and get paid and be caught up with my brothers, and the risk was worth it because I own something that's making money, plus I'm getting a paycheck. But I can also run the studio because that's self-sufficient because it was built from nothing. So like it's a really wild moment. One, because these are, I'm coming down to the last interviews that are going to be down here, and I told the guy today, like, this isn't going to be recreated. There's going to be a new version of this, but this will never be. There'll never be anything. It's going to be hard to walk away from this. It's a very unique spot where I was able to, you know, get over the death of my best friend and keep working to have a palette to do anything I wanted. I created a business that I left the, you know, when you build something, you don't know when's the correct time to leave your job to run it. And it's like, I left a fucking government post office job to do this. And it was crazy. And I was so scared. And when I did it, I was like, oh, there was no way I wasn't going to do this without not having to do it full time. So it motivates people. I like to hear back from people where they take risks and they do cool shit. People fuck with the food. The finishers family and the jiu-jitsu people, especially after this, it crosses over. So it's a good mix of like meeting more people that will come up to me at a finishers and be like, hey, I saw the interview with Jay. Like, that was fucking dope. And then you just start meeting people. So there's no negative that comes back from this at all, except for little beefs and tiffs and shit. But I'm 40 fucking 2, I think. So like at this point, I'm you know, it's not worth putting energy into.
Nope. I'm 43. I'm in the same exact boat. If I don't love it, I'm really not into it anymore.
Yeah, we're never going to stop talking. We're now almost, this is now almost 2 hours because we just did 40 minutes on me. Plug your shit, man. I'll let you get out of here.
Yeah, I'm easy, man. You can follow me at SmashPassJ on Instagram. And I'll tell you what, if you are in the road, bridge, or utility industry, contractorservice.com. That's my company, Contractor Service. We're based in Camden. We're a dealer for steel, the equipment for the lawn and garden equipment, man. I'm a huge steel dealer. So if you're in that industry, check us out. Give us a call. Other than that, man, check out my Instagram. Got some cool stuff coming up commentary-wise. But yeah, that's it, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Of course.
Congrats on all your success too, man. It's
Thanks,
awesome.
man. I appreciate it. You know, I'm not going to go any further than that, or we'll just start talking again. If you're a first-time listener, first-time watcher, it's neveragainstudio.com. You can get everything on neveragainstudio.com. By this point, the apparel will be up and running. So if you want to get T-shirts, they are there. It's drop shipping. If you buy it, Kyle he does the screen printing. I can't think of his name because I'm on the spot here. Anyways, Kyle, his name will come up here, does the drop shipping. So if you want to get involved in drop shipping, you need T-shirts, you need anything. I've done apparel. That's how all this started. So I have a plethora of information. So if you need anything on that, let me know. Subscribe to the YouTube because we're going to be able to monetize soon. And that's it. Check it out. Check him out. Thank you so much. 2 podcasts today. I'm burned out. I'm going to go eat pizza. Thanks, man. Yeah, that went fucking awesome.
Never Again Radio. Get into it, brother.